The following program is appropriate for all ages and sensory friendly.
3, 2, 1. From Chicago, this is the Autism Channel World News with Roger Badesch.
Hi, thanks for joining us on the Autism Channel World News. We're glad you could tune us in. You know, that boys are diagnosed with autism far more often than girls is not news. What is news, however, is that researchers at Yale believe that the female brain is wired in such a way as to inherently protect it from autism. Researcher Stephen Sanders led a team that observed mutations and genetic variations known to relate to autism spectrum disorders. In this study, they found that genetically speaking, the female brain should be more susceptible to a diagnosis of autism than the male brain. However, fewer females actually have autism as a result of this genetic likelihood. This leads researchers to believe that somehow the female brain may have some set of fail-safes against developing autism. A twin study in February's edition of the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences backs this up. That study found that girls with traits of autism, but not necessarily a diagnosis of autism, are more likely to have similar siblings than boys are. As a counterpoint, however, a researcher at Hamilton, Canada's McMaster University, believes the issue is not whether autism manifests in girls, but how it does. Dr. Peter Zatmari notes that, quote, girls tend to focus on topics such as ponies, princesses, dolls, or drawings, common passions for non-autistic girls too. As a result, the special interests that so often serve as hallmarks of autism are harder to detect than the more incongruous interest found in young boys with autism. Previously, we told you about a school in Wales that came under fire for its lunchroom policy, which had students with autism eating lunch away from their peers because they spoke English and not Welsh. Now the school has responded and stated that the policy is just fine with the children's parents after all. Though City Councilor David Fallweather referred to the policy of separation as cruel, a statement from the school reads that a majority of parents affected preferred that their children eat separately rather than be made to speak a foreign language. Despite graduating with a degree in environmental studies, working in the field of environmental research turned out to be a poor fit. But now a young man with autism from Northwest Indiana will be working in a field all his own, taking his future into his own hands, hands that have green thumbs. Chris Tidmarsh of South Bend, Indiana, is using his training in chemistry and horticulture to open an organic aquaponic greenhouse in his hometown. Aquaponics is a system of growing plants without soil, reducing the space and resources needed to grow. Chris and his mother, Jan Pilarski, expect that the greenhouse will yield over 45,000 pounds of vegetables per year. But more importantly, this greenhouse will employ not only Chris, but up to 5 more people with autism, helping to address the lack of jobs out there for people on the spectrum. According to Pilarski, who is spearheading the startup, this is an opportunity to be entrepreneurial about the staggering 90% unemployment rate confronting people with autism. An author from upstate New York has contributed a new entry, the collection for children's book about autism, just in time for the holiday season. Jennifer Lang Bowl is the author of Why Does Davy Do That?, a book that seeks to explain the behaviors of children with autism that other children may find peculiar. The book was inspired by the author's nephew, David, who has autism. The book is available in paperback and Kindle editions. Viewers in author Miss Bowles' area can meet the author this Sunday morning at the Charlotte Library in Rochester, New York. And finally, as we all know, there is no larger figure in today's world of autism than author, speaker, and activist Temple Grandin. A mom from northeastern Nevada has finally gotten to meet the figure she calls her inspiration as she raises a son with autism. Natalie Myers received a grant from the Northern Nevada Autism Network to travel from her hometown of Elko to an autism conference in Reno. There she met the one and only Temple Grandin, whose books she had read as she raised her son Cole. Myers had the opportunity to discuss Cole's strengths as a person with autism with Dr. Grandin. Now that's someone who knows about the unique talents and perspectives that autism can bring. That's the latest from the Autism Channel World News. I'm Roger Badesch. On behalf of the entire Autism Channel family, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Join us again tomorrow for the Autism Channel World News with Roger Badesch. I'm Mary Beth Marsden.
This is the Autism Channel. I'm Temple Grandin, Professor of Animal Science at Colorado State University.